From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the Real Zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Okay.
Hey, D, I can't hear him.
I just sent him a text. I can't hear me either. He's been talking for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up. I have the entire document up, so I'm just trying to pull something I saw that was in the forward that people will deny is there.
Keep going.
How's everybody doing tonight? We're just trying to get Trent on board so that he knows that we can't hear him. So hopefully we'll be able to have a conversation about this after I read all 922 pages. And I tell you, if you have not read this yet, you need to read this. There we go. Still can't hear you, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, now we can hear you.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. No echoes?
It's a delay.
So let me turn this off real quick. All right, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Good stuff, good stuff. Sorry for technical difficulty, folks. I've been actually on the phone with my nieces for a number of hours, and I didn't pre-set up and all that stuff, so kind of rushing through it, but good stuff here. But like I said in the opening, we got something serious to talk about. Project 25 in this election cycle is very imperative that you guys get out and vote. Actually, we just got one of my nieces registered while we're on FaceTime, so this is very important, man. Very important. It's a lot of information that's here. We could actually go to democracyforward.org. Gives you a snapshot of what's going on. But Coach D, take it away so we could get into it.
All right. So I didn't get much done because I was actually reading all 922 pages. And I will be straightforward with you. If you have not read this, you need to read this before you vote, because it will affect this country for generations. And anybody who says that it's just a plan, they're not really going to do this. Let me read you a note on Project 2025 in the forward. It says, "We want you, the 2025 Presidential Transition Project, is a conservative movement's unified effort to be ready for the next conservative administration to govern at 12 noon, January 20th, 2025. Welcome to the mission." Now that tells you ain't a plan. I don't know what kind of you think a plan looks like. So here they have 4 pillars. So pillar 1, which is this book, puts into one place a consensus view of how a major federal agency must be governed and where disagreement exists brackets out these differences for the next president to choose a path.
Right.
Pillar 2 is a personnel database that allows candidates to build their own professional profiles and our coalition members to review and voice their recommendations. These recommendations will then be collated and shared with the president-elect's team, greatly streamlining the appointment process.
Right.
Pillar 3 is a presidential administration academy, an online education system published from our coalition. For the newcomer, this will explain how the government functions and how to function in government. For the experience, we will hold in-person seminars with advanced training and set the bar for what is expected of senior leadership. And pillar 4 is the playbook. We are forming agency teams and drafting transition plans to move out upon the president's utterance of "So help me God." And that is from Paul Dance, Director of Project 2025, in the forward. And then it goes through all the who's writing it and all that good stuff. But just going through it, like, America as we know it will not be America as we know it. And everybody's like, oh, well, gee, that's a pretty catastrophic view of things. I'm like, in this document, they have listed what is going to happen in every single area of government, right? Tells you who's doing it, gives you the contributors' names, and it's a who's who of conservatives and alt-right in America, pretty much. Right? And if you're a non-white, non-Christian, then you're in trouble, right? Even more so than you are today. So here's their conservative promise. This volume, The Conservative Promise, is the opening salvo of the 2025 Presidential Transition Project launched by the Heritage Foundation and our many partners in April 2022. Its 30 chapters lay out hundreds of clear and concrete policy recommendations for White House offices, cabinet departments, Congress, and agency commissions and boards. Just as important as the scope of the Conservative Promise recommendations and its breadth of authority, is more than 400 scholars and policy experts from across the conservative movement and around the country.
Exactly.
So I say scholars because here's the next 4 things that they give you. Restore the family, and this is a heteronormative Christian family, man, woman, children, as a center prize of American life and protect our children. Dismantle the administrative state and return self-governance to the American people. Defend our nation's sovereign borders and bounty against global threats. You know, when they say border, they only mean the southern border because nobody's paying attention to the northern border because those are white folks come across there. So be clear on that. And that's as a Canadian. And secure our God-given individual rights to live freely, what our Constitution calls the blessings of liberty, which I find absolutely hilarious because when you go through it, number 4 is very far from the blessings of liberty and the right to live freely. Okay. Have you read through it, Trent?
Yes, I did. Hold on one second. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we can hear you.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, cool. All right, so what was your question, D?
First, I asked if you read through it.
Yes, I have. I'm going to go through some points here. Let's start off with the cutting the overtime protection for 4.3 million workers.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about prescription drugs that they're talking about cutting out the prices completely. And let's talk about limited access to food assistance for over 40 million people. For over 40 million people and 21.6 million households.
That includes veterans.
Monthly.
Just so people are
All that
clear.
stuff is gonna be gone. That's in Project 25.
Yep.
All that stuff is gone. It's going away. How important is that? Think about that, right? You get all these people talking about what Trump's done, what he's done, all this stuff. That's all that stuff is a facade. That is a facade. He's talking about taxes for the rich. He's not talking about cutting tax for the middle class at all. Or below middle class, none of that stuff. This stuff is imperative that you read through this, man. It's a serious business.
Listen, I stopped taking notes at like 30 pages. I have like pages and pages of notes I have written out here.
Yeah.
Like it's like trans rights are gone. Critical
Absolutely.
race theory, which is not taught to children, it's a college level course. They like to talk about Martin Luther King's colorblindness view of society. They obviously have never listened to Martin Luther King, who, by the way, conservatives hated because he wanted to make sure that you saw the person and their character. On
All the
IVF,
students with student loans, all the students with the student loans is gone. It's gonna go. All that stuff is in Project 25. Project 25.
yeah. Oh yeah. Don't forget if you plan on having IVF or embryonic research, good luck with that. There's never, according to page 455 and 460, there's never any justification for ending a child's life as part of research, and the research benefits from splicing or growing aborted fetal cells and aborted baby splicing can be provided by an alternative source. All research should be appropriated.
Exactly.
Climate change research should be disbanded. One second here.
This is definitely not. These folks are not messing around, man. They're not. And if you guys don't want to go through the whole 900 pages, go to democracyforward.org. It gives you a synopsis of everything that's in there. They break it down. Democracyforward.org.
Yeah. They want to rein in the IRS. They want to propose a legislation that would effectively abolish the Federal Reserve and replace it with free banking. That would be catastrophic. So anything that you talk about left-wing activists, their idea of marriage, divorce would become very, very difficult. So if you're in an abusive marriage, you're not going to get out.
Exactly.
Luckily, Maryland has preempted that. They've changed how you can get divorced, so it makes it a little bit easier for people. So Here's the thing. There's going to be a lack of pay equity, paternal leave, maternity rates are going up. And when you look through it, every time you look through it, everything you look at is going to be gone. They want to get rid of the Department of Education, right? Because here's the thing.
Before we jump all the way in, let's say hi to Kathy. I see Kathy here. I didn't see. I was having technical.
I can't see. I have the document up, so I can't see. So let me pull them up. Oh, we got a whole pile of comments. Kathy, hello everyone. Blessings of love. I sent them a text. Hey, KHD and Ursula. That's some serious vibe. Project 25 is no joke. People need to take this serious. Bondage and slavery. Let's be serious about this. Trump supporters have no clue what this means. Hell, he's saying he has no clue what it means, and there's nothing he has agreed to. Straight crazy and foolish.
At all.
Think about what this will affect African Americans, people of color. Those statistics speak to our people. And then / Grand Rising Melanated People, Green Princess Coach G, Ursa, Mr. Epic.
Here's the thing. These people try to camouflage this stuff with this rhetoric that they're talking. If you notice, these guys never talk about their plan.
Yeah.
They never talk about their plan at all. Because the
plan's already out there. It's already out there. I just read to you what they plan to do on the moment he says, so help me God.
Exactly.
Right? But here's the thing. They plan on people not reading 922 pages.
Exactly. And y'all know what they say about black people and reading. You want to hide something, put them in a real talk. So all you Trumpers, I'm talking to black people who talk about Trump, supporting Trump. Pick up that and read it. All your rights are going to be gone. If this guy get in office, all your rights are going to be gone. No food assistance. Anybody that's looking for that $1,200 check that really came from the Obama administration, that didn't come from Trump. Y'all guys got to get into this politics, man.
Here's what most people don't realize. The budget that you live on for the first 2 years of a new administration is the budget from the previous administration. All
Yes.
the laws that Trump enacted is what's going on here. And people are like, oh,
Exactly.
food is so expensive. Food is not expensive because anything the government has done. Food prices raised in COVID were never lowered after COVID.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank
They
you.
were never dropped. And people are like, well, gee, why didn't they drop them? I'm like, it's corporate greed. Why would they drop? Why would they stop making money hand over fist?
Exactly. So let's keep it a buck, man. We're just gonna be keeping it a buck straight the entire hour with this gumbo talk, right?
Yes.
Project 25 enables discrimination. Period. It enables discrimination. It's giving people a green light to discriminate against you. If the LGBT, the black community, all that, every last bit of it.
Which particularly started in some sense when he initially was in office. So
Exactly.
a lot of it is kind of just really reapplying and really starting from where he was,
And here's the thing.
for the insurrection,
JD Vance, the guy who's actually running with him for his vice president,
Yeah.
he wrote the foreword to the book.
Yeah.
He wrote the foreword. That's how close they are to this guy, to the Heritage Fund Foundation.
And I know
they
they ready. And I know they ready to go. They ready to press buttons. I do know they ready to roll.
Yeah.
They're ready to go. So
They are. So here's what happens. They have legislation already written. So as soon as we're fighting a civil war, but the civil war is being fought in the courts.
Exactly.
That's where the current civil war is being fought. So rights are being taken away through courts. So when Roe v. Wade went down, did you notice how long it took for that legislation to get put in different states?
Exactly.
It was literally the same day or the next day they were introduced because it's already written.
Right. That's right.
And if you read through the Promise 1, restore the family as a centerpiece of American life and protect our children, right? It's nothing but, here we go, where is it? Let me find. These are the meditating issues that serve as the building blocks of any healthy society: marriage, family, work, church, school, and volunteering. Right? Not everybody goes to church.
Right.
Then they go on to say the American family is crisis, and then they pull out these faulty statistics of the black families, saying 40% of all children are born to unmarried mothers, including more than 70% of black children. And there's no government program that can replace the hole in a child's soul cut out by the absence of father. Fatherness, and they say fatherness is one of the principal sources of American poverty, crime, mental illness, and teen suicide, substance abuse, rejection of church, and high school dropouts. Right. That's not true. Poverty, crime, and all that stuff is. But here's the thing that I laugh about. Because they want protect the children, protect the children, protect the children. But guess what they're going to do? They're going to cut programs for babies, programs for infants, Head Start, WIC, free food in schools, public education system. All the stuff that children need, gone. They want to cut all that.
Completely.
Right?
Gone completely.
And people are like,
is that even a thing though? Can they legally cut WIC?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just you just have to pass it through Congress.
Yeah, they can definitely do that.
They can cut anything they want.
Right. And here's the thing: what a lot of people don't even realize. Yeah, everybody thinks that WIC was a government program. No, it wasn't.
No.
That wasn't a government program. That was the Black Panthers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they stole it and gave it a different name.
I think it was Frisco, right, D? I think it was in Frisco, right?
Yeah, it was in Cali. That's actually why California doesn't have lost their open carry, because the Black Panthers were carrying arms and Ronald Reagan wanted that shut down.
Exactly. Ernst, you didn't know that? The WIC program was started by the Black Panthers, feeding single mothers. That's why it started.
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
All those children's programs that we now have, that was WIC. That was what the Black Panthers set up.
The WIC program through the Black Panthers.
People think what has happened is, just like Martin Luther King was villainized in his time, they've whitewashed him so much that what he actually said doesn't exist anymore. The Black Panthers are still villainized, but everything that they did, they took. and put their name on it.
But here's the thing: this is so crazy to me about his followers, right? He fanning the flame of racism while he's actually sticking a knife in their side. Because let's be clear, as far as food assistance, the majority of people that's on food assistance, they're Caucasians.
Yeah, they're white.
That's what I'm thinking the whole time I'm listening to this. I'm like, a lot of government programs really feed or fund. In our community where I live, it may look like it funds our people, but I see an influx of immigrants, and I know that they're dependent on those programs.
Oh, not just the immigrants. It's very much white people.
I'm talking about the mother people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know what we're talking about.
Okay.
Because
I'm talking about in my community, I see immigrants though. In my community, you know what I'm saying. But I know the other people.
I don't have a problem with immigrants at all.
Right.
Not at all.
Right.
The only reason that they have a problem with them because these immigrants actually contributed in taxes, over $1 billion in taxes.
Wow.
These same immigrants they talking about locking up.
Wow.
And as an immigrant myself,
taxes.
Y'all ain't worried about the country I come from, where there is an undefended border. Exactly. There's nothing. You can walk across the border from Canada in thousands of places, and nobody would see you.
That is true. That is true.
And thousands of Canadians, we can come here for 6 months and not leave, and nobody's gonna say a darn thing because you know why.
Man, these programs are smoke and mirrors. All the stuff they talk about with this rhetoric, all that is smoke and mirrors, period. Smoke and mirrors, period. And here's the thing. These people are so crazy that they don't understand. They're so caught up in this guy. I got a ton of friends in New York, right? A ton of friends. They've known this guy to be, you know what his nickname was? Don the Con. This dude is running a long con on these people. It's a long con. This is no joke, man. Like I was talking to my niece, I was on the phone. I was on the phone with them for about early this morning. We was talking over some things, and my niece registered while I was on FaceTime with her right before the show. Like, hey man, this is important because she reminded me. She was like, "Oh, you podcast?" I said, "Yeah." She's like, "Y'all talking about Project 25?" I said, "Yeah." She's, "I want to know about that." She's registered. She registered to vote, man. She's registered to vote. This is very important. Man. It's imperative that people know that this is some serious stuff. These people trying to put us back in chains.
Yeah. Only about 30% of the American public vote. And if you're voting third party, you're an idiot.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say that right now because there's no third party vote that's going to win. And Jill Stein is not the one because if you actually do your research, you'll find that there are Russian institutions that are promoting Jill Stein so they can get Trump in office. Because we have a two-party system. Why people have not figured out that the two-party system and the Electoral College are combined, then you can't get a third-party vote is going to be on there? I don't know.
These people have been playing our face this entire time, man.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Slash has got some comments. Slash, all the things the Black Panther Party put in place. Oakland, San Diego, women and children. Just like the 99% of inventions, everything we use today, recessive people have stolen and pillaged anything and everything. Yeah. Listen, when you read, and I tell you, if you do not read through this, you are doing yourself and this country a great disservice.
A great disservice.
You want to be a patriot? Read the 922 pages. Because if you read those 922 pages, you're going to sit back and go, wait a second. And if you do any critical thinking, right. And people are like, oh, geez, I wouldn't worry about that. I'm like, they've already put things into place already, right? They're talking about critical race theory. Critical race theory is not taught to elementary schools. I know. I have an elementary student, right? It's a university course that you have to voluntarily take, right? Teaching Black history is not critical race. It's American history. Teaching First Nations history is not critical race. It's American history. Teaching kids about the Trail of Tears and the awful thing that happened to them is not making white people feel bad. If your child cries because they're hearing about the Trail of Tears, which they should cry because it's horrific, It's not because they're white, it's because stuff happened. Horrific things have happened in this country, and it needs to be taught. Otherwise, it is repeated.
That's true.
I was talking
That's
to
so
Ursula earlier today. I think it was earlier today, maybe yesterday, and we were talking about the people taking the books away. Coach D schooled me on. She said, "Y'all focus on Florida, but Florida is not the place where you focus. You focus on the place that's actually doing these books up, which is Texas. The law's been changed already.
Yeah,
that's another smokescreen that they're throwing up. Oh, Florida's doing this. Nah, Florida following the lead because all the books come from Texas.
Texas. A lot of the new textbooks are chosen by Texas just because of the amount of people, and people look at. If you look through some of the books that have been approved, you will be actually shocked and disgusted. As somebody who loves history with a passion, I hate seeing the textbooks that are coming out. I have lots of friends in Texas, and we talk about this stuff all on a regular basis. Like Xavier will be fine because I'm a trained teacher. I'm not worried about him because his education will be fine. I'm good. The other people should be worried because they want to eliminate public schools so they can keep your kids stupid so they can pay them low and make more money.
Exactly.
That's why American schools have not adapted anything. They want to create indoctrinated robots who do exactly what they're told with no questions asked.
That is amazing that you say that. That is really.
Yeah. Listen,
I never saw it like that. That's a teachable moment for me.
Yeah. Look at the fight back for anything new. Like people complain about Common Core math. Common Core is a standard. They're being taught a different type of math so other kids can see the math. The math that people are complaining about now, I was taught 30 years. I was taught in elementary school in Canada. This is not new math. This is old math that the rest of the world have done. And our kids are left behind. If you look at any educational structures, any statistics for any other developed countries, we should be ashamed of ourselves.
Yeah.
As much money as this country has, we should be leading in everything.
Loose the chains. Traveling outside of your city limits to loose the chains, because that's all it is.
Listen, and people are like, well, D, you're just you're a leftist. I'm like, you know what? I'm not a leftist, although I'm getting closer because leftists want to burn everything down and rebuild it. I think we can restructure what we have and fix it, right? Because I'm going to tell you right now, Gen Z who is voting this year, and Xavier's group, Gen Alpha, they ain't here for games. Xavier and his friends watch the news and have discussions about current events at 10.
Wow.
Yeah, the Gen they different. They different.
Gen Alpha is not. They're going to be voting in 8 years, and the rest of the country better be ready because they're going to be like, oh, whoa, no, this ain't happening this way. So this is why there's such a push to get this through because the generations coming up are change makers.
Exactly.
Right. And I had somebody laugh. He goes, "Well, gee, what's with all this mind your business?" And I thought when they go low, we go high. I'm like, that was boomer stuff. This is Gen X now.
Exactly.
Right? Harris and Walter.
It's
a whole different game ball. It's a whole ball.
The reason why they claiming this is their last chance at bat.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last time they'll be able to fan them racism flames. Yeah. This is their last chance at bat. A lot of people don't realize that. This is the last chance for them at bat. That's a wrap.
Here's what happens. When people who have power see that they're losing that power, they will do everything they can to keep that power.
Exactly. And that's what's happening.
That's true.
Right?
True.
And they think, oh, well, I don't like same-sex marriage. I'm like, who the fuck? Why do you care who somebody marries? Really, think about that. You want to force your religious beliefs on others, but you would be damned if somebody would force their religious beliefs on you.
Let's get back to this Project 25 here. Let's talk about the American Rescue Plan, the ARP, the programs that they have created and saved 222,000 jobs, 220,000 jobs, restrict access to medication, abortion, push more than 33 million people enrolled now into Medicare. It's going to push them completely out. 33 million people enrolled. These people will be pushed out and pushed away. How would these people survive? Again, 33 million people are enrolled in Medicare. This is one of the plans in Project 25 to cut it completely out.
Listen,
so when
man,
these people on these networks talking about cutting Medicare, no, they're not talking about cutting it. They're talking about doing away with it.
Yeah, they want to eliminate it, and they want to eliminate the ability to negotiate on drug prices.
Thank you.
Right? Here's the thing. Americans don't realize how, I don't know if they don't realize or they don't care, how much they're getting screwed. Like if you go to any other developed country and purchase the same medications, it's ridiculous how much less you're paying. Right? We're
Exactly.
one of the only developed countries that doesn't have a national health care system. Do other national healthcare systems have problems? Yes. I'm in Canada. I've never had an issue with healthcare. My stepdad has heart issues. Never had an issue. Do you know what he doesn't have to worry about if he goes to the hospital? Going bankrupt.
Right.
Right?
Boom.
His problem is paying for parking because 6 people go to the hospital, but that's a very Canadian thing. Right? So and people are like, well, gee, you don't understand what it's like. I'm like, you know what I understand? Xavier had a blister on his hand that got infected because he likes to slide his hand down the handrail at school. Ugh, gross. Right. And it got infected. So I had to take him to the doctor. So took him to urgent care. They cut it, lanced it, put some antibiotics on it, and then had to go up to the next doctor the other day. I have good health insurance. With my deductible, I still paid $500. Right? That $500 for a family is their groceries for the month. They would not be able to eat.
Wow.
Right? People think, oh, we're 1 or 2 paychecks from being rich. No, everybody is 1 or 2 paychecks from being broke.
Boom. Right. Say it again. Say it in the back for the people who don't hear you.
Everybody thinks they're 1 or 2 paychecks from being rich, but we're actually 1 or 2 paychecks from being broke. When I say broke, I mean homeless, sleeping in your car broke, if you still have your car.
So people understand, man. It's very imperative that these people understand when they talk about Project 25. Like, yeah, it's cool to see all this old crazy stuff they be talking on Instagram and Facebook and comparing the policies. Not comparing the policies because they're not reading policies. Comparing the candidates and all this stuff. I wouldn't give a damn if she didn't recognize she was black until she started running. Don't matter to me.
Listen,
it don't matter. Ignorant. And I'm talking to black people at this point. It's ignorant for you to even be saying that or regurgitating that shit. It's very ignorant for you to be saying that and not knowing what this agenda is from this guy that's coming behind her. Period.
Listen, they're just regurgitating what the slave master is saying. And people don't like that. I'm like, listen, this is how it worked back in the day. Right? Any of us who got out of line, they had some good ones who would fight for them. So, white adjacency is a drug. But I tell you one thing, when you're not around, you're still the same, and the rest of us are.
That is.
Right?
That is.
So,
I want to go on record saying a couple of things. The first thing I want to say is during this particular, when Biden said he wouldn't run anymore, and I really thought about some of the comments I heard and just thinking historically about African American people in particular as a whole, and just some of the mishandling here in America we have encountered. I really did think thoroughly about, we always talk about the crabs in a barrel mentality and how we keep each other back. You know what I'm saying? And here you have somebody that it doesn't matter what race she represents. You got to know that person's agenda, and then you have to know the adversaries' agenda. And I think it's really clear who you need to go and vote for. If you're gonna vote, you need to vote. Right. But I think we're clear on but more than that, I hear a lot of people talk against Kamala, and it's just it's kind of disheartening because it's somewhat disheartening because she is she does represent us in some sense, you know.
She
And
represents
then,
us. Like, I mean, here's the thing though. Her daddy's Jamaican. My
right,
grandfather, my great grandfather was Jamaican.
right,
Does that make me
right,
not black? My
yeah.
grandfather
And
on
not
my
only
mother's
that,
side. No, hold on, listen. My grandfather on my
uh-huh,
mother's side was Indian. Does that
hmm
make me not black?
Yeah,
no,
I'm talking,
that's not what that means.
to these
I'm
ignorant
not
people.
black either because I grew up in Canada
You
like
know what I'm
she did.
saying?
So you
So
know,
does that not make my skin melanated? Because you see what I'm saying? Man, these
yeah,
people talk so much ignorant shit that they don't even know. They have
first
no idea. But here's the thing. Like I was telling Deja earlier, and she was talking about how people talk about Kamala Harris and all this other stuff, right? So I was like, Deja, the people that's talking shit about this woman, they're not even registered voters. The majority of these
Well,
people are not even registered voters. The majority of these people, I guarantee they're not registered voters.
oh yeah, I had somebody go, well, gee, she's not a real American. I'm like, why not? It's like she grew up in Canada. I'm like, have you forgotten who you're talking to? And she's like, well, she's
Exactly.
not black. Her mother's Indian. I'm like, oh, so I'm white now? Like, let's get real. Like,
Exactly.
what are we saying here, folks? And
So
here's
that's just like with D, right? D's a Canadian and she has Irish. So does that make her black? That don't make her black?
no, I'm not black anymore. I'm white now.
No, you black because your dad is black. You black.
So no, I know I'm black. I'm black, blackity black. We don't want to argue about that.
any because I studied African history, you know, with the HBCU,
Yay.
you
That's
know.
what I'm talking about.
I
Dylan.
did. And so I really dove all the way into my history. You know, if I could do some more, I'm definitely planning to do some more. But in saying
Right.
that any amount of African in you, you are African.
There it is.
Listen,
And you know what's crazy about that? Not to even start, but we got to do a show on that too, because from that side hustle that I do, I have I have learned what I've learned from that side hustle is that we're all so confused. We're a bunch of mixed nuts. You know what
We
I'm
true.
saying?
True, yeah.
It's so bad. It's so bad. And then I've traveled. When I was in Puerto Rico, they had people, you don't know about the Ninth Ward, but they had people that look like the Ninth Ward, look like they live, they breathe, they talk, they look like they straight out the Ninth Ward, and they don't speak an ounce of how we talk, you know, like American people. They look nothing, they look just like us, or you know, like the heart of the city, and yet they don't even speak our language, you know.
I know the
Let's
Ninth Ward. I've been to NOLA, so be careful. I've traveled
Okay.
all over the U.S.
I didn't know, and I didn't want to make you feel uncomfortable.
let's get the soapbox a chance to rest, and let's get to these comments real quick. One sec.
Slash, Mr. Effie, did you just get the text I sent you? Has anybody read Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury? Of course, yes, I have. But
Yes, Slash sent in a check from Jared Hoffman, congressional leaders form a task force to counter Project 25 and to defend democracy. You can actually go to hoffman.house.gov. And you could also go to action.aclu.org.
Thank you, Slash. See, Slash and I will agree on these things.
I was about to say, and I kind of wanted to also say something else about what's happening in reference to the agenda and whatever.
Right.
I don't particularly believe that and I hate that we're saying this. I'm just gonna say an alleged or whatever attempt of an assassination actually happened. I think it's part of a.
Can you guys still hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Great. Go ahead.
I don't particularly know if an actual attempt at assassination actually occurred.
I don't believe that foolishness.
A lot of people don't. It just doesn't seem real.
I'm just not going to be politically correct on this. I'm not going to be politically correct on this.
And let me say this: how uncomfortable How uncomfortable was it on January 6th for that insurrection? How
Exactly.
uncomfortable was that for Americans
I
to
live in
watch
I
that?
live near DC. It's very uncomfortable. I'm very
To
close to
watch
it.
that. I mean, it's COVID. We're all sitting at home working virtual. We can't even enjoy our regular activities. If you go to a restaurant, you're down to like you can't even go, you have to take out. And maybe a couple of months after January 6th, now you can maybe
Right.
sit at 25 capacity in a restaurant, and you sit at home January 6th and a few weeks after, and you're like, what is happening to our democracy as Americans? What is
Here's the
happening?
thing, man. In my
What
opinion,
is
when
happening?
Trump came along, right?
What is
When
happening to our freedoms?
They're
when
being
Trump came
stolen piece by
along,
piece, and people are ignorant to it.
when
Like,
Trump came along, all Trump did was expose that racism was still here and it was alive. All he did was fan the flame. That was it. Those people were that before Trump came in office.
oh yeah,
He just opened it up. He just opened it up.
yeah.
That's all that was.
He's not exposing anything that wasn't already there. People like,
There it
oh,
is.
like even in Project 2025, they talk about how colorblind American society. American society has never been colorblind.
Never.
And one, we don't want to be colorblind because we want to see each other, right? We talk about America's a melting pot. It shouldn't be a melting pot because you put stuff into a melting pot, it all combines. You put different colors of chocolate, it all combines. You want a salad because in a salad, everything stays their individual piece. The tomato's a tomato, cucumber's a cucumber, and you get a bit of all the goodness of everything. And when you have diversity, you have different ideas. If everybody goes to the same schools and educated by the exact same teachers, you get no outside ideas. Nobody's thinking outside the boxes. They're all taught the exact same.
That's why the imbalance is here in America. It's very imbalanced. Very imbalanced.
If people traveled, they would be shocked at how backwards some of our stuff is. If you go to Japan and get on one of their fast trains, or you go to Europe and you can take a train all over the place. You can go to multiple countries. I can't get from Maryland to Maine easily. Like I was like, oh, we should take the train to Canada. That'll be an amazing trip, right? I couldn't find a connection to get me. I'm like, listen, man, I was so upset with Amtrak. I was gonna write them a letter.
That was always a good trip for me. That was like straight from Toronto, boom.
Yeah, but I'm Nova Scotia's way on the East Coast, so that's a 22-hour drive to Toronto.
True.
Yeah, so, but here's the thing: what people aren't realizing when you read through this document, and it is a hard read because you will stop every couple of paragraphs.
You're not gonna believe some of the stuff that you're reading. You're actually reading. Yeah. This stuff is crazy, man. They're talking about cutting off food assistance for over 40 million people, 41 million people.
Yeah. And that's like when they were talking about TikTok and the Chinese government. When they had the CEO of TikTok there, and they kept asking about the Chinese government, they failed to listen to him telling them that he's Singaporean multiple times, right? And then they asked questions: Can TikTok access the internet? Well, how the heck do you think you get on TikTok if you're not on the internet? Like the level of not understanding things.
Let's be clear. Let's put these folks up on game real quick. Let's put them up on game real quick. The reason why there was an attack on TikTok, I guarantee you, Jeff Benzino, whatever his name is, the Amazon guy, lobbied on Congress because TikTok is killing him. Mm-hmm. TikTok is killing his pockets. I guarantee you. And then it's huh?
I buy lots of stuff on TikTok. All those small American businesses.
Exactly. It's killing them. It's killing them. I guarantee these people lobbied on Congress to get that bill, trying to push it through, trying to get them to sign off on it. Oh, they're taking away our data. No, they're not taking our data. AT&T, T-Mobile, Cox, they sell your data. There's no such thing as another country taking our data.
Facebook.
They're selling our data to these people over there.
Yeah.
Already, but
People
Ben,
don't understand that.
I don't even know or think that who you vote for though in some sense. I just think that America just doesn't have enough. They don't protect their citizens in general enough. And oddly enough, I just don't think America protects its citizens.
Well, let's talk about that for a second.
You know what? I'm just gonna say this is not the popular thing to say. This is not the popular thing to say. We don't have to be protected from nobody else but them.
Yeah. But no, I mean, when I say that in the most Trent, when I say that, and you know, I never want to disagree with you, but when I say that in the most, like the giving consideration to like how we get hacked a lot. I'm not saying other people don't. I'm just saying we do.
Well,
we have access to.
Let's listen for a second, real quick, right? When they talk about hacks and all that stuff, most of the hacks are internal.
Yeah, no, correct. They are. But I'm talking about like recently when you talk about things like, you know, public offices have been hacked. Like, you know, a few weeks ago, or maybe it was less than 9 months ago, the city of New Orleans records were hacked. I'm talking about recently, I got a letter from the Ticketmaster saying that they had a big influx of hackers. It's and you know it's not American people. Just yesterday, not even yesterday, Friday, I had someone keep calling me from the WhatsApp, and they were calling from Indonesia. And I'm gonna stand by what I say when I feel like America doesn't protect their citizens from, you know.
It's all a tech game. It's a tech game. Our data has been leaked right there on Facebook alone. Those social sites are free for a reason.
Yeah, you're the product they're selling.
You're the product. That's my whole point. You are the product.
And if you think it's bad now, they want to get rid of HIPAA laws so that people can call up and ask about your health.
Exactly. Right? So when you
I'm gonna be like Cedric Entertainer. I know you know Cedric Entertainer, right?
Yeah.
I wish.
So here's the thing. You're not wrong about them not protecting us. Our food.
Thank you, D.
Thank you. Contaminated.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you to a certain extent. So you talk about the FDA and the food. There's a difference. Y'all know I do that podcast with Catherine over in France twice a month. So it's a whole different situation.
I'm not talking about the FDA thing, though. I'm talking about chemicals that are allowed in our food that are legal in other parts of the world. Like I told you when I went to Canada, I ate whatever I want. I usually have issues with gluten and lactose. When I was back home, I ate whatever I want, didn't get sick once. I actually lost 15 pounds, and we were eating out like Xavier likes to eat it. So we were eating out all the time.
You see, now you heard what did you hear what D just said? You heard, I'm gonna call her Dr. D. Did you hear what Dr. D just said?
What she said?
Dr. D said she actually lost weight eating in Canada.
Yeah.
Because they don't have all of this. Man. That is, listen,
it's a different experience.
Listen, and if you go to Europe, I get Xavier. I used to get him snack box from around the world. Universal Yums, love it. If you want your kids to experience food from around the world, get it. Here's the thing: if you look at the ingredients, those foods don't have the same thing our foods do.
That's right.
I know they don't.
Like, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a traditionalist, but I can read a label, right? And our foods are so unhealthy, and our health system is not a preventative care.
Listen,
all.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I tell you what, I got some closeout words to say, but I'm gonna say this. You know, whoever you decide to vote for, and I'm definitely not supporting the Trump's agenda, but whoever you decide to vote for, if you did vote for Kamala, we really do have to hold the person who you go and you have to hold them responsible for the type of things we discussing. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Well,
got to start to show up for ourselves. And I'm saying that I don't want to take and run with the mic, but I'm saying that because, like, you know, as Americans, we're not protected. And if you know you're not protecting me with the food that you're pushing to the country, that means you're supporting big pharma and the medicine they pushing on us. And you know, they don't. No one really protects us. No one really pushes a holistic agenda. No one, because they want big pharma to succeed. And you know, I was sharing with someone about I really did wonder what Kamala agenda was about big pharma, because I know Biden was big on it. You know what I'm saying? Which is why that vaccine was kind of pushed, and it really divided us as a people, because Trump was like, I don't.
No,
wait, let me just finish.
Go ahead.
Let me just finish. Trump and people saw it, and I don't know how they froze something that he said, but he went on. It was documented that he said, "Look, I wasn't trying to push that vaccine on people." And I think really and truly, y'all, that's why people do have like a line in the sand where, like, I don't really know Kamala, but I know Biden pushed the vaccine, and I end up either losing my job or struggling to keep my job because I had to take the vaccine, especially people in public government or people who worked in hospitals. They either had to take the vaccine or they were threatened to lose their jobs. And then you have people who appeared to support Trump or whatever, who said, listen, I didn't know all of this was going on, and I didn't know this vaccine was going to be pushed on people. So I think if you vote for Kamala, you also have to understand her views on big pharma, and really somebody have to stand up for us and say, agendally, we don't want big pharma to win. And we also have to take responsibility for our health. But anyway,
that's another thing. That's another story. That's another story. But when you go vote, like for me, right? I vote on my issues, whatever my need is. So I'm not telling people to vote or whoever you want to vote for, but I'm voting all blue down the ticket. I'm going blue all down the ticket, period. I'm gonna keep it a buck, because it's better with my interests.
Right.
Voting red ain't gonna help me at all.
Right.
Voting when I'm talking about down the ticket, I'm talking about representatives, I'm talking about congressmen, senators, all that stuff. So the top of the ticket, that's the president. But what's most important is these local laws. These local laws. This is how Texas can get away with these books. This is why all these other cities and states in the union here get their books from Texas, because the law is in Texas. They don't have to do nothing else. I found that out through having a podcast with D. I was completely ignorant about those books. I'm focusing on Florida, and they already changed the law in Texas a couple of years before that. You see how the game going now? You see the game?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the game. And people need to get up on their game with that, man. We talk about this politics. People really need to get, this is not a joke.
Here's the thing. Let me go back to the COVID thing. Vaccines are good for you. We lost millions of people. People were dying. There were refrigerator trucks of dead bodies in New York City. There were my next door neighbor's a nurse. Every time people would die, he would sit on his back deck and play guitar. During COVID, I heard his guitar every single night. He's an ICU nurse. He aged in 6 months, a decade, right? People talk about, it doesn't affect me. Do you know what they did to COVID? They made COVID space black and brown so people would stop caring about it, because the essential workers look like us. That is why people got rid of the mask mandates. That's why they got it, because white people don't die from it. Black people do, and they don't care about us. Vaccines work.
There it is.
We now have measles, friggin' chickenpox, and friggin' polio coming back because people aren't taking vaccinations because they don't believe in science anymore. Do you know what they called the time when people didn't believe in science? The Dark Ages. It was the Dark Ages for a reason. Science works. Science has kept us alive. We need to make sure that we don't go into conspiracy theories.
But here's the thing, man. When we talk about these,
you saying that. Thank you for saying that, D. Because
when we talk about these vaccinations and all this stuff, right? When we talk about these vaccinations, right? And we talk about COVID was attracted to high blood pressure, sugar diabetes, glucose levels, and all that stuff. Now, here's the thing. Here's a lesson for you guys, for Black America. How many people suffer with hypertension?
Mm-hmm.
That's a large number of African American people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
More than 50. I'm
You
sure
see what
it's
I'm
more than
saying?
50. Yeah.
But
All the
it's,
comorbidities. Yep.
you see what I'm saying? But COVID is attracted to those things. This is why I continuously work out. This is why I continuously stay on the go to stay with that medication.
Right.
This is why I continuously work out.
Right.
Because nobody gonna fight for me like I fight for me. Period.
We have a ton of comments. Let me get the comments down, and then I just got a text to get back on track because we got off on track. And I just realized what time. Oh my God, we may have to go a little longer. Slash says those that have never read the White Willie Lynch letters, they're back. Oh, they're lockstep with the ideology of what was written. Folks that are talking are just that. Folks that talk. There's two types of ignorance. Agree. Dylan said this is good. This podcast is so good. Retta says hey. Ursula said hey to Retta. Just saying, talking back. Thanks for coming. Oh, thanks for coming to the show. DJ, Lord knows I love my fam.
I was on my soapbox. I totally apologize, but I'm very passionate about us. I'm very passionate about us. Yeah. And once Dee brought this up and she was like, let's just do it. I was like, let's do it, man, because a lot of misinformed people out there talking about stuff, they have no idea what they're talking about. Yeah. And the people that's talking about stuff like that is us. They look like me. They look like you. Yeah. They're misinformed.
And listen, if you're black and a lot of white people are listening to you, you need to think about that because they generally don't listen to us.
Exactly.
Right? Slash says, let's not forget that England cleared out their jails and sent their worst on that cruise. That DNA is running in the blood of the masses. Race is a social construct used to create a caste system. Yeah, so here's the thing. The reason that I don't know how the story got switched in the United States from what is taught in the rest of the world, but they were not kicked out of England because they were being persecuted. They were kicked out because they were persecuting others and trying to force their religious views on others. Like that's why they were kicked out. And then when they got here, if they believe so much in life and liberty and freedom, how come they didn't establish it when they got here?
Let's give them a little history, just a little bit. We're gonna talk. I'm on my black page right now.
Yeah, that's a whole other show.
I'm on my black path right now, right? So if Christopher Columbus discovered America, what happened 1,000 years before when the Africans started trading with the people that was already over here, which was us?
Listen, man, it was an African that led the Vikings to Newfoundland.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Africans was trading with the Americas 1,000 years before Columbus.
Yeah,
that's facts.
In Canada, we don't talk about Christopher Columbus is nobody. He's no one.
Did they teach y'all about
1,000 years?
I know this is not that show, but did they teach y'all about Christopher Columbus?
We don't. Christopher Columbus is a nobody in Canada because he didn't discover America. He was lost. That's why he called the Caribbeans Indians, because he was looking for India. And to his death, he still denied that he was lost.
I would too.
Like everybody's like, oh, Christopher Columbus discovered America. He never stepped foot in America. Not
at all.
And he was a horrible man who raped and tortured and ate the people that were there.
Say what it really was. He raped men.
Yeah, men and women and children.
Exactly.
No one was free from their horrors.
But before we get out of here, I want to do these pointers one more time about this Project 25, and then we're gonna get out of here real quick, right?
Yeah, we have some.
We'll go down this.
Can I get the comments first?
Go ahead, you can get to the comment real quick.
Okay, yes. Kathy says, Ursula, you're correct. I received a Ticketmaster letter. Also, somebody from Pakistan sent me 10 messages to me today on WhatsApp. I don't use WhatsApp. DJ, a lot of ingredients are banned in other countries. Slash pesticide, high fructose corn syrup, sucralose, bleach sugar, fortified types of seed oils, shot up with Monsanto, which oil burns down. Oh, we don't even want Monsanto is a whole other talk. The laws were changed to beef up private prisons, which closed schools to build prisons. Start with New York's broken window policy, which headed west, down the south, and across the states. Slash says, I have a question. Why do black folks keep a $2 bill?
I don't know. Tell us, Slash. I don't know about that one.
Why would he ask that? Because I got two of them.
I got a $2 bill too. I have no idea why, but I got one.
I was taught to keep $2 bills too. I don't know why. But let's get to this real quick, right?
There's
So
some
the most
generational
important thing
trauma there.
is Project 25 and democracyforward.org. Democracyforward.org. One of the most very important things in this critical race, and this critical race that's going on right now, restricted reproductive rights and access to health care.
Mm-hmm.
Enabling discrimination across society. Again, they're going to enable discrimination across society.
Yeah,
The
I do believe that's not for anybody that's listening, and they do feel a sort of way about the Republican agenda versus the what y'all call them other people, the Republican is the I forget what we call them versus the Democrat.
Democratic.
I forget what we call the Republican people. I will say when you talk
That's
about
the people on the right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something about reproductive rights. They matter.
I was wondering where you go with that. I was like, Ursula, I love you, but don't make me go.
Here's the thing, though, right? And I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it because we're already out here, so I'm just gonna say it, right? I'm gonna say it. As far as when we talk about abortion and stuff like that,
I was talking about abortion, but I'm
second though. But with the Project 25, their whole incentive for that is to have them make more babies.
Yeah, but not through IVF. You're not gonna get IVF.
Boom. So again, that's to have them make more babies. They have actually turned into the minority. They've been a minority.
Yeah.
This is smoke and mirrors, folks. This is smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
We are not the minority here. This is smoke and mirrors, folks.
Here's the thing. If we as a group got together, we are powerful. We are very powerful. Black women alone have changed entire makeup lines.
Thank you.
Just by our spending
This
value.
is so true. Oh, D, I really, you know what, D?
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to bring this up real quick, and I'm going to talk about how strong. I want to talk about how strong the black woman is, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why.
Talk your talk.
The reason why this whole thing is gone haywire with Kamala, the reason why she's so popular, 34,000 black women got on a Zoom call and raised $3.5 million. They started it. Then a black man came. It was like 20,000 black men. They raised $2 million. Then white women for Kamala Harris, over 100,000, 200,000 women, white women. You see where I'm going with this?
And then
you see where I'm going with this? You see how powerful these black women are? They're going to follow you wherever you go. They're going to follow you. They set precedent straight up. They started with $2 million. And everybody started doing these Zoom calls because these sisters jumped on a Zoom call.
I was on that Zoom call. It was amazing.
Exactly.
It was amazing.
Exactly.
Here's why black women are dangerous. Because we get shit done. Right? That's why they don't like it. You want to change rules? Look at all the stuff that's going on. Here's the thing. I love this country. I've been to the plantation my family was kept on. I want this country to be better. That's what everybody wants, is for it to be better. This is not going to make it better. Not for anybody.
At all.
Right? And I implore you, if you read one thing this decade, read this. The only thing you need to read this decade, and I'll tell you, when you read this, email us what you think. Because your eyes will be opened.
Email us at gumbotalk@taylorkennedyonline.com. gumbotalk@taylorkennedyonline.com. Tell us what you think, man. Please, please, please. And if you don't want to read the 900 pages, because I know it's a lot, go to democracyforward.org and they break it down. They break it down. They talk about the cut wages. They talk about create unsafe workplaces.
Mm-hmm. Cutting Medicare, cutting food for kids, cutting public school, cutting
all that's going to be cut out.
The FDA, all the stuff they talk about privatizing stuff.
Out. Student loan, all that student loan stuff. That's a wrap.
Yeah,
that's a wrap.
It's It's not gonna make us better. It's gonna make people a commodity to be sold, and for rich people to make more money, and that's all there is to it.
This is very important, folks. Yeah. And I'm talking to my black people. This is very important. Very important. So all this stuff about, oh, she's not black, that's the wrong conversation. That's the wrong conversation to be having. I wouldn't give a damn.
That's that crabs in the barrel mentality. That's how crabs in the barrel look. Oh, but she this is, I don't. That's why.
Then they talk. She locked up. Oh, she locked up all these black people in San Francisco and in California.
Marijuana.
Come on, man. First of all, if you got caught,
you go to jail.
If you got caught, that's on you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. If you got caught, you wasn't handling your business the right way.
Yeah. What you said?
If you got caught, you wasn't handling your business the right way. So you blame her for putting law into place.
Listen,
you wasn't handling your business. You wasn't responsible.
Listen, let's talk about the war on drugs.
If he got caught, he wasn't handling his business the right way.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it, man. I'm just so sick and tired of these ignorant people talking about stuff they don't know what they're talking about. Me and Coach D have these conversations. Me and Urs have these conversations all the time, talking about society issues, talking about public issues. This is the conversations I have with these ladies.
Yeah,
not just these two. Tammy,
I would be quick to say, if you got caught, you messed up. Don't blame the police.
You messed up. You weren't handling your business. But my whole point is, man, these people are so misinformed.
You were smart enough to start a business, but you wasn't smart enough to insure it.
Y'all, listen, we have some issues with California and what they did. There are some problems there. Yes, people.
There are some problems. But if they got caught, they got caught.
Yeah. They got
caught. They weren't handling their business the right way.
Right. Listen, and here's the thing: we need to work on changing those laws. We need to
agree,
because there's still 3 strike laws out there. We need to work on changing those. We need to work on decriminalizing and expunging records of people who got caught with a joint.
Exactly.
Right? We need to work on federal laws where it's federally allowable. Like cannabis is used to treat PTSD and cancer. It should be federally allowed across the board.
I'm gonna get out of here. We're gonna get out of here in a minute because Kobe needs to walk real quick. But jump on this cannabis thing real quick, right? So
I knew you wanted to talk about cannabis. What you want to say about cannabis?
I'm full of cannabis right now with this pain. I'm full of it right now. But here's the thing, right? You know where I get my cannabis from? From a doctor, 75, from a 75-year-old doctor.
So you
That's
get
what
your
he does for
from
business.
Big Pharma? You getting your cannabis from Big Pharma?
No, from my doctor. He yoga's with me.
Listen,
so now doctors are giving prescriptions, or are they giving cannabis?
Listen,
I got a prescription
these shops
for it.
look like Apple iPod store. You know what? Let's talk about medical cannabis in the next show. Let's have a conversation about weed.
We definitely should. But I find that very ironic that all these brothers were locked up for all this weed, and I'm getting my weed from a doctor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Literally, he's one of my yoga partners.
Yeah.
So you think that the people getting their marijuana from doctors should have waited? I mean, from street pharmaceutical should have waited and went to a doctor and got a prescription?
Listen, everybody talks about the devil's lettuce. I'm like, you know what?
Hey, listen. The moment I take that cannabis, it attacks the nervous system, these muscle spasms. I just be on cloud 9. That's an herb. That's an organic herb. I have mine in edibles.
I really think depending on where you purchase it.
I can agree with that.
Because
I don't do anything. I don't do anything illegal, so I don't.
If you go to Toby 2 houses down, I don't really necessarily know.
I would, ladies and gentlemen, viewers, I would recommend you guys going to a street pharmaceutical.
Listen, I bet Kobe 2 houses down knows about more about marijuana than some of the folks in the dispensaries do.
Well, let me tell you about Toby 2 houses down. He probably do, but at the end of the day, Toby ain't got no whatever that seal is of
license.
Approval. Yeah, license. And so if you ain't got no receipt for your purchase, I can't really be dealing with Toby also, because Toby could be telling you this is cigarettes that he's selling you, and he really selling you a cardboard box.
There you go. So it has to, honestly, I believe that marijuana should be regulated, but regulated fairly.
Yeah.
Regulated fairly. You know what I'm saying? And I
And
think that
and just as our democracy should, our democracy
exactly.
should be regulated fairly. We can talk about the Kamala agenda. We can talk about what Trump agenda is. But I know one thing: I don't necessarily like giving up my right as a woman that I can't go down to the clinic and get an abortion if I need to.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, I really didn't like the whole insurrection thing. It made me really scared to go back to work. You know what I'm saying? Like for fear that, I was going to be put in the back of a tractor trailer truck and ushered off to some other part of the country into sexual trafficking and slavery. So, our democracy is at stake either way. We really do have to hold people who we put in office accountable. And it don't start with Kamala or Trump. It really does start on a local level. If somebody in somebody in your community walk around and got the audacity to put something in your mailbox telling you to vote for them, then guess what?
Go down the ticket.
Yes, that's right. Let's have a conversation. Why am I voting for you? How are you supporting my agenda? What are you doing in my community? You see in the house, two houses down where Toby lived, he's selling stuff out of it and he never cut his grass. And now they got rodents coming over here.
Stop. So we'll talk next week. We'll do some gumbo talking on medical. Well, we'll talk about marijuana, right?
Medical marijuana. We're not going to talk about Toby. Two houses down. I do not support Toby.
Before I go, folks, I got to tell you guys, right? So I found this recipe online: avocado, banana, and almond smoothie. When I tell you the benefits of eating avocados for the good nutrients for the brain, and you wouldn't even think that avocado and banana go together.
I bet they do though. I think.
Oh my God, the banana makes it taste so sweet. You don't have to put no sugar in or anything.
I invented something yesterday. I invented something called banana coffee.
Is that right?
Yeah, I invented it yesterday.
So for the folks that's always asking me, like, man, you're fit, and your whole snack out here in these streets. This is one of the reasons.
Trent, you a snack out here in the street?
You think it's a game?
Trent, you in the street?
I'm the sexist, different disability type of guy you ever want to meet.
I want to go 2 shows back. And you had talked about, I'm about to be like Shannon Sharp. Come for the stories. Come for the news and stay for the stories. So 2 shows ago, you said 2 shows ago, you said you was off the market. Are you back on the market? Okay. Go on. Avocado and banana.
So here, I just have to do a little bit of administration because somebody accused me of not being American. So you see that?
That's what I'm talking about.
United States passport.
Yeah, Trent told me you are.
Yeah, she's Canadian.
Yeah, I got 2.
What you told me she was by.
Yeah, I got 2 passports.
She got 2 passports. Passports.
By American. No, what's the word you use?
Dual citizenship.
She had dual citizenship. Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure that people knew that I had American passport because people are like, well, you're not a real American. I'm like, you got a passport?
Oh, she definitely. Hey, if folks looking at her skin color thinking, oh, well, she half Irish, she black. She act black in different settings.
Blackity black.
And we'll leave that alone.
So what do you want to talk about next week? Because there's a whole we could
talk about Toby 2 houses down and not to go over there.
That's what you want to talk about, Ernst? That's what you want to talk about?
We should definitely talk about it because I want to talk about the results of when you go by Toby house and buy it versus when you go to the doctor.
That's cool. We'll talk about medical marijuana. That's my favorite thing to do these days with dealing with this condition. I talked to my nieces for about 3 hours on a FaceTime. We was talking about some family stuff, and 3 hours went by. I did a smoothie. I did my tuna steak. High as shit.
I want to talk about that. I don't don't always think it's a high. I just really think it's like a balance because
It's a
honestly,
balance. And
it's a
honestly,
balance. And I think people take that word high and they say, I don't want to feel like something not myself, but it's really a balance. But we're gonna
it's a
we're gonna
balance.
unpack that next week.
We could
I
definitely
want
Do you
to
unpack
feel
it.
high or do you feel pain free and calm?
I
That's the
just want to
difference.
talk to you about how proud of you I am, Trent, because you're manifesting your destiny, and every time I see you looking better and better and better, and I love to see how you push forward every time, no matter what you've been through, you keep on going. I'm so proud of you. I was sharing with somebody just today. I said, that guy, he actually died. You know what I'm saying? He had a
Yeah.
brain bleed and he was not himself. And he had his lungs to collapse. And yet you see him, he is really the true definition of perseverance. And
I
also, Miss
appreciate
Dual
that.
Citizen, I want to talk about you, Miss Dual Citizen D.
Hold on one
Pulling
second.
extra.
You guys talk among yourself. I got to remove myself for a second.
Okay. D, I want to talk about you because people have asked me about, like, who's the lady from? She's not American. I said, no, she's not. She's Canadian. And they're like, oh, it's very interesting. So I just want to.
I'm both. Just so we know.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I told Trent to stop saying that because my father's family is American, so very much American,
Yes.
very much Canadian. I was raised in Canada, so we know.
Okay. I often wonder what raised in Canada was like. And I'm going to just tell you my history of Canada real quick. My history of Canada is my mom is a seamstress. And every time we were little girls and we go over to the fabric store with her, she would buy these patterns. And the pattern would say the US dollar was $5.70 or $3.20. And a Canadian if you had to purchase that same pattern in Canada, it would be like today UK. It would be like $2 more. And so I'm like, damn, it must be really expensive in Canada to survive. Because I would always think in my little mind that Canadian people made the same amount of money on their paychecks as the American people until I got to be like 50, or maybe not 50, I'm gonna say about 40, and I recognize that even people who live in different cities don't make the same amount, and you get paid based on the city you work in and the cost of living. So just a little history about what I only knew about Canada when I was 12, in between 12 and 15.
Yeah. So yeah, there's like it's like 9:18, so I don't want to go too deep in it. But Canada is very similar and very different to the United States.
I could tell.
So it's very we're more community oriented. We don't keep, most of us hold all politicians in complete disdain because we have a different parliamentary system. So in Canada, if we don't like the way, if the opposition doesn't like the way the prime minister is doing things, they can call what's called a vote of confidence. If he loses the vote of confidence, they call an election in 6 weeks. So
wow.
Yeah, we don't have this long drawn out policy. It can happen anytime, whenever. And so our system works a little differently, and I like it. I wish we had more of how we discuss things here, because our news are done a little differently. It's not as sensationalized. So
you know what, Dean? I have a goal. I am going to try to make it to you in Canada at some point within the next 3
years. I'm in Maryland, ma'am.
She's in Maryland now. She's in Maryland.
You're in Maryland? I want to go to Canada when you go to Canada. I know. I want to go to Canada. When she's go to Canada, I want to go.
It's an expensive trip.
It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
I want to
do it. Very beautiful thing.
I'm sorry, Kiki. We were discussing Project 2025, but you know how we are here. We go off topic all the time. We're like,
come for
the viewer. That was a viewer.
Come for the topic. Stay for the stories.
we never stay on topic.
What's her name? What's her name? I'm sorry.
Kiki.
Kiki, we call this gumbo talk. So after the topic, we do this thing that called gumbo talk, right? Where we take everything and place it in the gumbo pot, and that's what we talk about. So if Ursa got a thing that you want to talk about, we throw it in the pot and we just roll with it. If D got a thing you want to talk about, throw it in the pot and we roll with it. This is called real life. So we do the real life dialogue and whatnot. It's always going to be transparent, straightforward, transparent. Sometimes we'll step on the toes. and love you at the same time, but it's all out of love.
Yeah.
Never from a malice place.
We should do another Project 2025.
Okay.
I think we should really try to tackle this topic, Project 2025, in pros and agendas, not the pros and cons of voting, not voting Democrat.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say, and I think we should do it once a month up until November. I make that motion once a month up until November.
Folks, I'm really the worker over here. These ladies are the boss, so whatever they say goes.
And here's the thing: I'm an independent. So if anybody, and I swear to God, if you email me and tell me to get off the Democratic plantation, I will out you by name. I will put your name out there for being ignorant. So just so you know, let's put that out there right now because it's coming.
Ernst, that's a great idea. So we'll do what you want to do once a month? What do you say?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Because I think it's an interesting topic.
Yeah. We'll have the agenda and go and stick to specific departments that they're going to change.
Exactly.
And also, Trent mentioned to me earlier this week when we kind of started doing some unpacking of last week's show about the swinging stuff.
Oh, yeah. D, I didn't talk to you this week, so I got a call from France. Catherine, you know, Catherine's over in France, so she said that she wanted to come on. I'm thinking that she's going to, you know, just implement it into the nutrition program. She was like, "No, I want to get on with Coach D and Ursula." I said, "Really?" She said, "I want to do a part 2 with Coach D and Ursula on polygamy." And I'll tell you why. She experienced that with her grandfather. Her grandfather had multiple wives in Africa, and you'll be quite surprised why Africa implemented that.
That's right.
Here's the thing. I won't give it all away because we're going to do that show with Catherine. You guys get a chance to meet Catherine. I podcast with her twice a month from France. And she wants to come in. She specifically said she wants Coach D and Ursula on the program. So I was like, oh. She's like, yeah. And you guys know it's like a difference. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Because I kind of mentioned it. I said, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry. Because when you told me what she said, we connected. I actually really connected with her because I'm like, see, I don't really I'm not fully studied on a lot of stuff. I have studied a lot of African culture, but not enough to know that there's a reason why people did that. And it's not because of the low nature. See, everybody thinks that.
She went back and looked at the podcast, and she was like, well, Coach D was right about how they tainted polygamy. They tainted it.
Right.
But where it was implemented, the reason why for the multiple wives, the more land, that means the more people get to work that land. The more kids get to work that land. It wasn't about sex.
Never.
It was about keeping and moving the family forward, keeping the tribe going forward. Her grandfather had multiple wives. Like she's literally from Kenya, but she's been living in Paris. She's been living in France
When's she coming on? Because I would love to talk to her and meet her.
Well, we got to schedule it. We got to
schedule it. I totally forgot to tell you about it.
And we gotta.
She wants to come on live, so we're gonna have to do it maybe a couple of hours before, so we could give her a nice time as far as because she's 8 hours apart. So we'll probably start the show around 6 o'clock instead of 7.
I would like that. That's not an hour. Is not that bad.
Yeah,
it's really not that bad.
How many hours time difference is it?
It's 8 hour difference, 7-8 hour difference.
6 o'clock would still be like 2 in the morning for her.
Well, she suggested that. She said 5 or 6.
Well, let's just do that. She'll probably be able to manage.
No, I'm telling you what she told me.
It's a good time for her.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you an example of the time difference, right? When I podcast with her, it's 8:30 in the morning for me. It's 3 in the afternoon for her.
Yeah. So listen, whatever time she's good with, I'm good with. Just give me a heads up.
Okay. Gotcha. Because I mean, she looked at the show and she was like, "Yeah, I want to get in on it." It's not sexual as a lot of people would think. That's not his origins.
It's not.
That's not his origins at all. So I asked her. You know I had to ask. I was like, "So would you do it?" No, that she got the nicest accent. Said, "No, sorry, William." She called me William. She don't call me Trent. She called me William. No, sorry, William for Williams. So no, Williams, that doesn't work for me. So
But look, this is why, because she's not her grandfather. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so, and remember I talked about that thing like with sometimes people, it's your fiscal ambition. It has a lot to do with fiscal ambition. And like if a man can afford more than one. See, American women, we like stuff. We like things. We like purses and cars and houses and shoes, and we like all of that shit. But
women like D, and I'm not trying to pin nobody against each other, but women like D and Catherine, what's gonna push the family forward? What's gonna go forward?
That is so true. We are stuck in that Americanized culture of stuff, and especially like the African American people here in the U.S. I was laughing at one of my good friends. My good friends, lover turned good friends. He hate when I use our stories, but I was laughing at him because he said, "You know what? Give them all the reparations they want. Give them reparations, because if they get reparations, all they're gonna do is make Coach and Louis Vuitton and them all rich and go out of business."
That's it. Hey, man, this has been a good one. We've never gone 30 minutes over, but we can do that because we own the platform. So as we streaming 175 different countries and regions every week, every week and every day. You can catch Conversation with Trent Friends. You can catch Ursula. You can catch Coach D, myself, anywhere in 175 different countries and regions. That's no cap. Like them young folks said, that's no cap. That's fact.
I like that.
So good stuff.
Get to know us. Get to know us. Subscribe and like the channel. Join the channel. Watch us. Get away from reality TV. This is real TV. We're talking actual facts. We're spitting real game. We keeping the cap. That's just.
And we get messy sometimes.
Say no cap. We're keeping the cap free. We're keeping the cap free. We're keeping the cap free.
We all know everybody loves it when we argue with Trent. So.
Yeah, they argue with the sick and shedding. With this condition I got.
Well, thank you for supporting me tonight, Dion. I forgot what we were saying, but I didn't know at the time I was about to argue with somebody that was high.
Listen, I have to go get little man. Get him off his video game.
I was about to go and sit. D jumped on your side, so I said, "Let me back off because she gonna come with some facts. Let me back off of that because she gonna come with some facts." So, I did get a message from one viewer. She was like, "Oh my God, you and Coach D was an item." I said, "Where were you? You didn't hear about that?" Like, yeah, when I introduced her to the platform, I introduced her as my ex.
Yeah.
But Coach D just let everybody know that we was having sex during our relationship. I didn't talk to him about that.
Mark said, "Don't say that sex." He said, "Say seg" or something like that.
We're grown. I don't know why y'all pretend we aren't. Coach, use grown folk words.
I didn't know y'all was doing that though.
Yeah.
You think that man drove through the snowstorm for soup? Please
stop.
No, I honestly thought you were a nun, D.
Oh, she fall from a nun.
Innocent. That's about it. Don't fall for it.
She fall from a nun.
Don't fall for that.
Not at all. She had me driving in a snowstorm in Toronto trying to get to her.
We now understand.
Yeah, it was a bad situation. Bad as in good.
I'm going to let you guys go. So next week we're going to talk about medical marijuana. I'll have the laws ready and the who are allowed to have dispensaries and who aren't, and go from there.
Oh,
we
good.
got to talk about that part of it.
Ursh, you want to close us out real quick?
Yes, I just want to tell everybody, thank y'all for joining Kiki and DJ Slash and Mark's family. I mean, Mr. Epic's family, my family, and all of the people who've joined us. Thank y'all for staying so connected to real life TV, our real life streaming. Continue to be epic. Please like the show, subscribe, follow us, and most of all, stay epic.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. We'll talk next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, D.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.